Well. Here we go again. Sunday Adelaja here from Kiev, Ukraine. Who is going to be the first one today? I hope the notification is gone out. I'm going to say Anson David is the first person today. Welcome, Anson. Blessings. Adidamola, blessings. You wrote me a letter. I've not even read it. I saw that it came in while I'm getting ready for this, but I've not gone through it yet. Welcome. Obi Ojimadu, welcome. Paul Davis, Volker, Femi, Nina Greshana, Mashu, Mutari, Flair Karin, Adetoro, Fabian, Cape Town, Oke Udo, Dominion Emmanuel, Courtney, Olukayode, Ludovic, Fumi Adeuse. Wow, welcome everyone. Charles Ushe, Petra Zamora, Maria Makajiola. Thank you all for greeting me with Happy Father's Day. Thank you for that. Andrei Rybakov, Oke Udo, Angela Bessa, Feli Belmont, Esther Kuganja. Thank you everyone for greeting me well. You know, we are going to continue today to talk about debt. We're going to, please go and share if you don't mind, go find your share button. Go find your share button and let's go share the link. Mayowa, welcome. Irene Hart, blessings. Kike Lomo, blessings. Mother's Love. Oh, wow, is that the name? Mother's Love? Chris Bradley from Pennsylvania, welcome. Justin from Liberia, Alayade Kunle, Yakubu, Ernest. Please go and share the link. Let's go share the link. We'll be happy to share this link with other people. Let's go do that, and then we'll continue with the topic for today. Well, the topic for today is excuses. The excuses we give that land us in debt. The excuses that we give that actually land us in debt. What are the excuses? You know, we people are, if you are in debt, most likely you have an excuse why you are in debt. A lot of people think that there is no way they will afford debt, and that, you know, debt is inevitable because, you know, of one excuse or the other. So we have excuses that we normally give, that we are constantly giving as the reason why we are in debt. And each person thinks that his own debt is explainable and that his debt is justified, that there might be a reason that is justifiable why you are in debt. And of course, I don't blame you, because the whole society that we are in is all about excuses. And the society is such that it pushes us into that debt. And, you know, even without giving an excuse, we already think we are justified because of, you know, the excuse the society is already giving for us. The society is giving excuse on our behalf that we have a reason why we should go to debt. Many people still believe that you have a reason why you should go to debt. Most of us think that we have a reason why we should go to debt, but we really don't have a reason why we should go to debt. You should tell yourself that you don't have a reason why you should go to debt. No reason to go to debt. No reason. Let's get rid of all forms of debt in our lives. But today, I'm going to be examining some of the reasons and some of the excuses that we go into when we go to debt, or the excuses that actually land us in debt. What are the excuses that land us in debt? Well, the first excuse that I think that, you know, that we could consider today, and why many people go into debt, is because people just say, you know, circumstances led me to debt. You know, things were tough, or the business was not going well, or I wanted to deliver or save my business, and, you know, just things happen. So we think that we are justified, that we have an excuse in going to debt when there are tough circumstances around us, when there are, conditions and situations and that are not going our way, things, conditions that are not favorable. So we think when we tell people, or if we could tell people, I have so much problem, or my children have to go to school, or I don't have money to eat, or my family is suffering, or I lost my job, or I needed to pay for the debt, I needed to pay for the mortgage, or I had a problem, my father died, my mother died. Sometimes we think that when we give excuses like that, that is justifiable, that our action or our going to debt is explainable. The fact that it's explainable does not mean that it is justifiable. Going to debt is not justifiable. And so if you are one of those people who say, I was just unlucky, I went into this business, it was a bad business, and I was unlucky. Some of you think that you are in debt today because you are unlucky. No, sir. No, sir. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. No, sir. You are not in that debt because you are unlucky. No. You are not in that debt because you are unlucky. You are in that debt because of your decisions. Yes. Because of your decisions. Your decisions put you in that debt. Your decisions did. Not luck. Not luck. Leave luck alone. Leave luck out of this. Leave luck out of this. Leave it out of it. Leave it. It is your decision. It is your decision that landed you in that trouble. It is your decision that landed you in that debt. And anything that makes you to go into debt is definitely your decision. It's not about luck. And it's not about circumstances. And it's not about the situation that you found yourself in. It's not about what didn't go right, what went wrong, or what didn't go right, or what didn't go as you planned. Well, it is still your decision to go into that debt. And even if it is circumstances or situation, you still have to take responsibility. You still must take the responsibility upon yourself and admit it that yes, this debt that I'm in right now, it's my problem, it's my mistake, and I lost it, I missed it, something happened, I'm so sorry, and this is what happened, and I must take responsibility for this debt that I'm having right now. So one of the most common reasons, one of the most common arguments that we all give when we go to debt is that something happened. Yes, you are right. Something will always happen. You are right. Something will always happen. Something will always happen. But the idea is that whatever happens, so that you will still come out of that situation victorious and not being in debt. Something will always go wrong. We are living in real life. I don't doubt that, and I'm not arguing with that. Yes, something will always go wrong. But don't be the victim of whatever goes wrong. You don't have to be the victim of something that has gone wrong. So, so don't embrace debt for whatsoever reason. Don't think that debt will be your solution. Don't be looking at debt as the way out. You don't look at debt as the way out of any situation that you find yourself in. It doesn't matter what the circumstances is. It doesn't matter what has gone wrong. Don't look at debt as the way out, as your deliverance. It's not your delivering circle. You don't look at death as the way to come out of whatever situation you are in. Situations will come, yes, but that is not an argument, and it's not enough a reason for you to go into inconsiderable and unwise debt. Don't amass debt. Don't put yourself in trouble. It's better for you to change your circumstances, reduce your lifestyle, change, live on a much more modest budget. Maybe change your apartment, get a smaller apartment, or maybe you need to, cut your budget, cut your ego, cut anything you need to do. Be more humble, be more simple, be broken if you need to be, but debt is not the solution. Debt is never a solution, no matter the circumstances or the situation you are going out. So you must put that in your mind, that debt is never the solution. Now, there are situations where you could go into good debt, And when you go into good debt, that is when you go into debt when you have 70% at least of the amount you are borrowing. So if you are borrowing, if you are borrowing $300, make sure you have $900 or $1,200 of your own, that if anything goes wrong, you have 3 times or 5 times resources to use to cover for that debt that you are taking. So that is when it's a good debt. And also, if it's a good debt, only if you are using that money you are taking from another person that you are borrowing only to add to the 70% of the whole project, the cost of the project that you are already having, just to add to what you already have. And of course, what you already have must be 3 times or 5 times bigger than what you are taking from another person. So don't make debt your bedrock. Somebody just wrote me right now, Hardshad Godke said, lot of motivational speakers say always live in maximum debt. Well, yeah, those are motivational speakers, but I'm not a motivational speaker as such. I'm a speaker of truth. I'm a speaker of truth. So I'm telling you the truth. And because people have thought like that live in maximum debt, and many people have gone into debt, that is why many people went into trouble when the crisis of 2008 came. That crisis made a lot of people to lose their properties, to lose their houses, to lose everything they have worked for their whole life, because they had to, forfeit all of them because of the debt they were living in. And if you live that kind of lifestyle that will allow you to, and believe those pastors, those guys or those pastors or motivational speakers that tell you to go into maximum debt, then you will always get into, you'll be a slave for the rest of your life. You'll be a slave to debt. You'll be a slave to work. You'll be a slave to job. You'll be a slave just trying to make a living and survive and come out of the situation in a very, very hard way. And you'll be working for your whole life just to come out of that situation. So, I'm not in support of that kind of philosophy that, go into maximum debt and that is when you are okay. No, I think you shouldn't. You should only go into good debt, and I already described what that means. Yeah, debt is never the solution for whatever you are going through. Cut your budget, slice your ego, slice your salary, cut your appetite, cut your taste, cut your desires, and reduce everything to minimum level. That is a better way to come out of the complex situation you are going into, rather than to go into debt. Then the argument that I was just unlucky. It could be sometimes things happen like that you are not lucky, because things happen in life, but you still have to take responsibility for it. You still have to take responsibility for your decisions. You still have to take responsibility for what happened. You still have to say, at the end of the day, the buck stops on my table. I am the one that took this decision. I am the one that is responsible for whatever I've taken. And this debt is my debt. I am the one responsible for it. And, okay, someone is writing, Kemi Harwell says, I am watching from my friend's page. Oh, okay, it's Yetunde writing. All right. All right. Yetunde Awolesi Omoile is the one watching me, and she's watching from another person's, I think her friend's name is Kemi. So it's actually Omoile that is there. All right. Greetings to you there. Anyway, so so the idea is, don't go into debt no matter the situation. Don't think that debt, some people look at debt as their quick fix solution. And there are a lot of people like that in the world. They are looking at debt as the quick fix. If anything goes wrong, and they just go into debt, and they see that as the fast way out, fast quick solution. And that solution is a deadly solution, because it's going to put you into trouble, and it's going to put you in a vicious circle that will make you to be going from debt to debt. And then you'll never be able to live in liberty and freedom. And when you are in debt, you are a slave. You are a slave to the debtor. And you are a slave to the world system. Not just to the debtor, you are a slave also to the Uncle Sam and to the system of this world, because you have to now go and sell yourself to working all day, all year, until you pay the debt. And because you are owing somebody money, or you are owing the government money, or because you are owing the bank money, you cannot go and obey God anytime. You cannot just say, okay, God is telling me now to go and become a missionary in the Philippines or in Malaysia or in Africa. You cannot do that because you must pay your debt. And for you to pay your debt, you must remain in the country. You must keep on working. You must keep on going to sell yourself to the slave master. You must go and get a job, and you must remain in that job until you cover your debt, until you pay all your debt. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. So you are tied down. You are tied down to that job. You are tied down to working. You are tied down, and you are by being tied down that way, then you will never be able to please God. So God will never be able to be your priority in life. God is no more your priority, and the desire to please God is no more your priority. Your desire now is to pay your debt. So instead of your desire and your passion and your life to be about God, about pleasing God, about looking for His will and how to fulfill His will and how to find His purpose and how to fulfill His purpose, instead of you to think about God and how to please Him, how to fulfill His purpose from morning to night, and for that to be the centrality of your life, now you cannot afford to do that because of your debt. And so you are now thinking of the money that you are owing that person, and you are thinking constantly about that person that you are owing, and you are asking the person to help you, and you are or you have to forgive you, or you are working to give them money bit by bit or part by part. So your thoughts, instead of them being on the purposes of God, on the will of God, is now constantly on this thing, on the debt, how you are going to work to make the money come to pass, how you are going to get the money, how you are going to work with second job or third job, how you are going to explain to the person you are owing. So your life has been captivated by debt. Debt captivates you. Debt imprisons you. Debt, actually makes you a dependent. It puts you in bondage. So instead of you to be in bondage to God, instead of you to be in bondage to the will and purposes of God, instead of you to be addicted to the kingdom of God, instead of you to be addicted to doing His will, you cannot do that anymore because you have somebody looking for you. You have someone knocking on your door at the odd hours of the day trying to get their money back. And that's what debt does for you. And especially if it's a debt to the bank or to the credit card company, then you are even more in trouble because they can track you anywhere in the world. And so so debt is never the way out. You don't look at debt as a way to resolve your circumstances or your situation that you are going through. Better cut your expenses, better cut your taste and your appetite, but don't go into debt. So that's one of the arguments that people use, that's the reason why they are in debt, because of such situation that is beyond their control, because they are unlucky. But those are not enough. What are the other arguments that people use why they go us have opportunities presenting themselves to us? And opportunities are a great thing. And life is about opportunities. And thank God that God could bless us and provide us with opportunities. But most of us are normally not ready for the opportunities. We are normally not ready for opportunities when they come. So because we are not ready for the opportunity that when they come, as a result, we go and say, okay, this opportunity I must not miss it. And because you don't want to miss that opportunity, you begin to run helter-skelter. You begin to run from one person to the other, trying to borrow money because you had not prepared. What does it mean to be prepared for the opportunity? Let's say that you had been saving on a regular basis, or maybe it's even 10% of your income or 30% of your income. I would recommend you to keep on saving 30% of your salary every month. You must save 30% as the minimum. At least if you are too much in debt or something, maybe you could start with saving by 10%, but you must have a goal of saving 30% of your income. So let's say you are saving 30% of your income every month. So whenever, and you have been doing that, let's say for the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you are not just saving the money to put in your pocket, to put in your house or in your under your pillow, but you are actually putting that money to work for you. You are putting that money in investment, and that money is increasing, and that money is growing. So whenever the opportunity comes, because you have the money somewhere, you can easily go and take that money and use it to take care of the opportunity that comes. Or you could use that money that is working for you as your collateral for whatever you are going to get. And then, or you could even take a debt in that sense if the money that you are that is your asset or in your investment is much bigger than the money you are taking. So when opportunity comes, because your money is already working for you, you have several options open for you. You know, a lot of people think that they are not lucky in life, and they say, why am I unlucky? Well, somebody said, I discovered that, when I'm ready, when I'm prepared, when I work 18 hours a day, and when I've always do what I need to do, I'm always lucky. We're always lucky because I'm prepared. Always lucky because I'm ready. So when you are always prepared, when you are ready for any opportunity that comes, each time the opportunity comes, you have money, or you have collateral, you have asset that you could use to take advantage of that opportunity. But for most of us, unfortunately, we never save, or we never put enough money in savings, or we have some savings, but we never put enough money. They are never enough for us to be able to take advantage of opportunities when opportunities come our way, or because we don't put our money in investment, our money is not working for us, our money is not growing all the time. We normally spend most of our money. So when opportunities come, and most opportunities that come in the area of business, they need investment, they need money, they demand money. Opportunities will always demand money. And if you didn't have money working for you, if you didn't have assets working for you, if you didn't have collateral or things that you could use as collateral, and if you didn't have money that you've already saved or money that are in your investments, you don't have anything to take advantage of the opportunity. So yes, so that is another reason why a lot of people go into debt, because they said, I must take advantage of this opportunity. Oh, this is a great opportunity. Yes, and it could be true. Maybe you actually have a great opportunity, but because you are not prepared, not just being prepared. Some of us are prepared morally or in knowledge, or we are prepared in wisdom, but we are not prepared financially. You must also be prepared for opportunities financially. Most opportunities that come to you will demand money. So you need to always, and that's another reason why you must save. And we talked about that yesterday. You must be involved in saving so that when opportunities come, you will be the one that is ready for it. You know, what I've discovered is that a lot of opportunities that come to people's lives, maybe God gives you opportunities, but because you are not ready for it, and nobody is ready to lend you money, and you couldn't borrow money from anyone. So what most of us have done is that we have taken the opportunities that God has given us and just gifted them to other people. Or we just look for people who have money and we've given them the opportunity. And they are the ones that take advantage of the opportunity, and they don't even remember us when their money is back, when they make the money, or when money has yielded them something. So if you are a person that wants to be able to take advantage of opportunities in your life, if you really want to be able to take advantage of future opportunities, you must always be ready. Not just be ready mentally, not just be ready through knowledge and skills, but you must be ready with money as well. Most opportunities, 80% of opportunities that come to your way in life, they demand some money. They demand want some amount of money. Either way. Maybe, for example, somebody said if you put some money in this, you'll be able to make 100% or 200% or something, but you don't have the money and the opportunity is gone. So that is another reason why people go into debt. We think because I have an opportunity and I must take advantage of it, so I must borrow. Well, sometimes yes, but before you borrow, in that case, make sure that you can have a guaranteed return that is not going to jeopardize you and your future. So either you are sure that investment you are doing will give you money before whatever you are borrowing. Let's say you need to borrow $10,000 or $100,000. Make sure that business that you want to put it into is going to give you at least 2 times or 3 times that amount. So if you are borrowing 10 times, 10,000 US dollars, make sure that the outcome that you are going to get from that business is at least 2 times or 3 times more than the amount you are borrowing. So that way you have more peace. But if you are just borrowing $10,000 to put in a business, and the reward and the profit that you are going to get from that business is the same $10,000 or $15,000, it's not worth it to borrow because of that. So you can only borrow for a business that you know will give you 3 times or 5 times the amount that you are borrowing. That's number one. Number two, you must also make sure that the amount that the return of the business is going to come. For example, let's say you borrow the money to pay it back in a year's time. Make sure that the money you are expecting, the business is going to come back at least 6 months before when you need to return the money. Or make sure the money, your income, will come a year before when you need to return the money. So let's say you promise somebody that they should give you the money to use, and you promise to give them back in 2000, in a year's time. Then you must make sure that the business and the investment you are putting your money in is going to give you, is going to at least have, you have a reserve time of half of that. That is 6 months. So in 6 months' time, you have the money returning to you. So you still have 6 months to prepare to get the money back once you have it in your hand. So, or let's say you need to return the money in 2018. That's in 2 years' time. Make sure that by 2017, the money is already in your hand. So those are some of the things that you need to consider before you could borrow money to do investment. So when opportunities come. But in most cases, many people just think that because the opportunity is there and it warrants us to be able to borrow. So you just want to go and quickly borrow. You just want to quickly borrow because the opportunity is there and you don't want to lose the opportunity. So you are promising heaven and earth to the person so that they could just give you the money. But the way things happen with opportunities in life is that they don't always fulfill the promise. They don't, for example, opportunities could come, and yes, maybe they will yield you the result, but the result might not be as fast coming as you had expected, or the result might not be as bountiful as it has promised initially. That's just life. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't take advantage of opportunities. You should still take advantage of it, but you must always consider, what do you call it? You must always consider securities. You must always have backup plans. So backup plans will save you from, running into trouble and from putting yourself in danger. So, when you don't have backup plans and when you didn't consider a lot of these things that I've spoken about now, when opportunities come and you are borrowing to meet that opportunity, you will just discover that, that problem could be, that borrowing and that debt could land you into trouble and you'll struggle for years to be able to pay it back. All right. What are the other excuses that we give as the reason for our debt? And what are the other excuses that we give that land us in debt? Another excuse that this is a practical thing, and as a pastor, I know people say things like this because you are working with people, I'm working with people, and I hear them talk this kind of talk most of the time. Somebody could just tell you, I say, Pastor, I don't even know how it happened. I just don't know how it happened. How you don't know how what? Well, I don't know how this debt came about. I didn't know, yes, I got the money. Yes, I took the money. Yes, it's my debt, but I don't really know how it happened. Things just happen. Things just happen in life, and that's just what happened. And so sometimes people are so, and when somebody says something like that, it means the person is disorganized. Totally disorganized. It means it doesn't have records of his actions. It doesn't have records of the money that it takes from people. It doesn't have records of what he's done with it. It doesn't have record maybe with people he are taking the money from. It didn't, give them a written note. It didn't give them a fixed date. It didn't have anything was going to do with the money. And in those cases, those are just situations when people just take money and squander it. Take money to do party. Take money to show off, take money to live big, you borrow money to eat in a restaurant, borrow money to pay for house rent, borrow money to pay for your car. Those are the kind of situations when you say, oh, I don't know, I just don't know how it happened. Because it just happened. But that's not, that doesn't show a serious attitude. And maybe there are some of you who are watching me right now, and you have that kind of attitude, and that's your own excuse. And that I don't know how it happened, but it just happened. I never expected it to happen. Well, I didn't know it was going to get this bad. But that doesn't give a lot of comfort to the person that you have taken the money from. That aggravates that kind of person. And it shows the person that you are not very serious. And also it shows that you are not very serious. It means that you get into more trouble in future. It means that, you are going to have more challenges in days to come. It's not going to be your last debt. If you are not very serious about your debt, if you don't take it very serious, and if you are not, considering and having a laid out plan for how you are going to return your debt, even before you take the money, you must already have the plan on how you are going to return the debt, how you are going to pay the debt, what are the strategies, what are the business, where did you put it. Then you must have not just one strategy of how to pay the debt back, you must have strategy 1 of how to return the debt, strategy 2, strategy 3, strategy 4, strategy 5, at least 5 backup plans on how you are going to return any money you take from anybody. So those are the things that you need to do. You need to make sure that you have backup plans, and you already have plans ahead of what the money that you are taking. Even before you take that money, you must have the plan of how you are going to return it, and you must be serious about it. Shirley Simpson Brewer is saying, until recently, I didn't know that a lot of stores make more on their credit cards than on what they sell. So they make more money on their credit cards, store credit cards, than they make on what they sell to people in those stores. You see, never keep a balance on store cards. This person never kept a balance on store cards. I didn't hear all your messages then, but you have great advice. Thank you. You see, you have to keep balance. All your debts you are taking, if you have store credit cards, for stores or just bank credit cards, you must keep balance, because they are taking 30%. That's why they are making more money from you than they are making from what they are selling. That's why they are always offering you credit cards. Stores are offering credit cards because they are making more money from those credit cards than the profit they are making from their business. So you must be serious about your plans of going into that debt and of how to come out of it, and you must have backup plans as well. Olu Kayode says borrowers need excuses to get the money from lenders. So borrowers need excuses. Yeah, they always come with excuses. They also fabricate excuses when they cannot pay back as promised. That's so true. Borrowing can become habitual and turn the borrower to a lifetime slave. It is better to avoid borrowing. That's true. Yeah, and Adedamola is saying credit card is worse than, store card is worse than credit cards. Yeah. And Charles Ushe is saying, wow, 5 strategic plans must be, backup plans must be in place before you borrow any money. Yes, you must have 5 backup plans on how you are going to pay the money back. So, that's that. So, what are the other reasons that land us in debt? What are the other things that we do that actually land us in debt? What are the things that we do that land us in debt? And excuses. What are the excuses that we give that make us to have debt, to have more debt? This is also a very common excuse that people give. A lot of times people say, well, it's not my fault. This debt is not my fault. It's the fault of my partners. It's the fault of my business partners, or they are the ones, because they were responsible. they were responsible. He promised this, my business partner, he promised this and promised that, and he didn't give me the money back, or so that's why I'm in debt right now. Or he promised to bring me this profit, he didn't bring it, or he did the business in a bad way, and so that's why I went into debt. But if it's your partner, it means that you are supposed to take some responsibilities on that business, on yourself. It means that you are supposed to know at least what's going on, and you must have a say in that business. So if it happened, even though it could be the fault of your partner for real, but you still must bear responsibility. You still must take the responsibility upon yourself why that thing happened, and you must come through and come clean to yourself that you didn't do what you need to do, or you did some things wrong, and you only put the responsibility on your partner, and you didn't do your own part of due diligence. You didn't control what was going on in that company or in that business, and so you didn't know when the company went into bankruptcy. And so that's where a reason that many people give. We say, well, I don't know. It's my partner that was supposed to be managing the business, but he didn't do a good job. He did a bad job, or he messed up the business, or he took too much money out of. I've had a lot of people saying, well, I had a partner in my business, and the person took a lot of money and I didn't know it, or he took all the money, I trusted him. Well, in business, don't just trust. As you trust, you must verify. Trust but verify. Trust and verify. And so because you did not verify, maybe that's why you lost the money. So yes, it's the fault of your partner, but it's also your fault. It's also your fault. So some of those excuses that we give, they land us in debt. And when you say, well, it's not my fault, it's the fault of my partner, he took the money from the business, or he didn't tell me, well, it means that you have a fault there as well. So, come to facts, come to terms. Come to terms with the fact that you didn't do your due diligence. You didn't verify. You are just trusting. But trust should not go without verification. The fact that you trust is the proof that you trust is when you verify. So it is when you trust somebody that you want to verify. You want to make sure that what you trusted them for, it is actually so. So you don't have to accuse them of anything tomorrow. So you don't have to accuse yourself of anything as well. When you trust, you must verify. Trust demands verification. Trust demands verification. So, don't live your life any other way. Don't live your life putting all responsibility on somebody else, on your partner, or on your neighbor, or on another person. Just take responsibility that, yes, this happened because, I didn't do what I needed to do. And my partner messed it up, or my business partner didn't do what he needed to do, or he took all the money, or he stole the money, but it's my fault. The buck lands on my table. The buck lands at my doorstep. So I take responsibility. So trust, but verify, especially when you are working with partners in business. So what are the other excuses that people normally give for the reason why they are in debt? And those excuses don't get you out of debt. They don't get you out of the trouble. They actually put you more into that trouble. They put you more into trouble. Pastor Magnus Ame says, it is better to be a seller than a buyer. It's better to be a lender than a borrower. Let's build our goals on being a seller and lender, and run away from being a buyer and borrower. Brilliant. Okay, so what are the other things that we say? What are the other excuses that we give that put us in more debt and put us in more trouble rather than help us to resolve our debt problem? Some people think that they have an excuse for debt, and the reason they give is a very popular reason. Many people talk about this argument, this reason, this excuse as the reason why they are in debt. Have you ever heard people say that our whole country is in debt? It's our culture. So it's a cultural reason. We normally give culture or tradition as the reason for our debt. We say everybody lives like this. This is the way everybody lives in this country. If you go to America, people even tell you that it's not possible to live without debt. that it is normal to live in debt, that you must live in debt, that America is built like that, and without debt you cannot live, you cannot even survive. Many people believe that without a credit card debt you cannot survive. You must live in credit card your debt, and you must buy credit cards, or borrow, take credit cards, because they believe that that's how you build your credit history. And because without credit card you will not have credit history, and so because of that, debt is justifiable. Well, that's another excuse that people use, and it's so common, and everybody, not too many people actually question that logic, and most people just go ahead and do it. And I think right now 99% of America, maybe 98% of America has a debt, one debt or the other. 98% of the whole country is living in debt. Either they are living in mortgage debt, or they are living in credit card debt, or store card debt. Almost the whole country is living in debt. That is so bad. That is horrible. And it has become a culture, and people have come to accept it. But I tell people, don't use credit card. Always go for debit card. Use debit card instead of credit card, because credit cards have a way of laying siege for you. It's like a landmine. Landmine. It's going to explode one day. Something is going to happen to you one day. Maybe you are going to get old, or you are going to get sick, or you are going to, well, you need to obey God. If you need to obey God, you can never do that, because you are on debt, because you are having credit card loans or store loans or all these loans, and you have to pay for them. So you cannot go to Guatemala as a missionary. You cannot go to, even now I'm gathering a team of 2,000 people from all over the world to go with me to Nigeria. Because I want to go and bring about transformation and reformation in Africa, especially if you are a retiree or you are a pensioner and you want to do something with your life. You want your life to count. You want to contribute something to humanity before you leave this world. If you are that kind of person, if you really want to, and if you really want to, contribute to your world and to, make the world a better place, maybe you want to join my team. I'm going back to America. I'm going back to Africa after living in Europe for 30 years. And, I want to see transformation in Africa, and in Nigeria in particular. So if you are interested in that project, it's called Nigerian Transformation Project. You want to write to me, or if you want to know more about it, you could go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com. The sundayadelajablog.com. Then you'll see the banner there on Nigeria. So go to that banner, and then you'll see more information. Or you want to fill the form out from that blog, or you could write to me to pastor@godembassy, godembassy, one word.org. pastor@godembassy.org. But it's better for you to go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com, and you go to the Nigeria banner, and then press it, and you fill the form out, and we'll send you more information. And you also could order for the newsletter. But if you want to know more about Nigeria and how I'm proposing to solve the problem in that country, you can get this book on Amazon, Nigeria and the Leadership Question. So if you want to reach me personally, my email is, again, pastor@godembassy.org. pastor@godembassy. God Embassy is one word, godembassy.org. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that if you are in debt, you will not be released. You can never be released to go and do what God wants you to do. And we are created to be in this world by God in the first place. He sent us to be in this world to do His purpose. So you must be free. You must be released. You must be free enough to be able to obey God at any time. You must know that nothing is holding you back. It's not credit card loan holding you back. It's not, nothing is holding you back from going to obey God. So you must be willing you must set yourself free, so that nothing else is holding you back from going to obey God. And for that to happen, you must not be in debt. If you are in debt, even if your whole country is in debt, if your whole culture is in debt, you don't have to be in debt. Because you always must remember, you are here to please God. You are here to follow God's calling upon your life. So you don't want to be in debt, because you don't want something to hold you back, so that anytime God calls on you, you'll be able to go and do whatever He wants you to do. Susan Price Redfern says, always wait and pay cash. Don't allow instant gratification to put you into debt. What may look like a good deal with credit will always hurt you financially unless you are responsible with credit. Yeah, that's so true what she's saying. That's so true what she's saying. Oh, she has more to say. And for you to be responsible with credit is so rare. That's so rare because so much temptation. And you end up in worse shape than before you borrow the money. Unless it's an investment, like a house that will gain value over time. A car loses value the second you drive it off of the car lot. Clothes on credit lose value as soon as you walk out of the store and wear it. The credit companies are the only ones who make money off you and save. So you need to save as well. A rainy day will always come eventually. Save your money and you won't be scrambling for money and not being a panic trying to find money. Any kind of credit requires responsibility and accountability. If you cannot be responsible with credit, don't use it and never co-sign for anyone. It could be your end. It could be you that ends up paying the debt. If that person you co-sign for stops paying, then the credit company will come after you to pay off the debt for something you don't even have. And it will cause resentment and hard feelings. Ooh, that's a lot of advice there from, this is Susan? Yeah, Susan Price. Susan Price, brilliant, brilliant. Good thought, good thought. Yeah. So you need to set yourself free so that you'll be able to obey God whenever God calls you to obey Him or whenever God wants to send you to somewhere. Okay. John King says, I spoke with you at Pastor Festus Adelaja. Yeah. And at the United Nations at the US. Since then, I've lost contact with you. I could not get it. Oh, right. I just gave you my contact now. I hope you got it. If you didn't get it, go listen to the tape again. So you can write to me. No problem. So, okay, this person is asking, can one borrow to float a business? Yes, but I've spoken about that earlier. It means you just came in. So you need to go listen to that message again because I don't want to be repeating myself because I've given the answer even today already. So if you are the type that is always blaming the country that you live in and say that because that's the way it's obtainable, you see, that's Susan. I'm sure she's writing from America. I don't know where she's writing from, Susan Price. And she's telling you what to do with debt, that don't go into debt. And I know of another family, the Shoronkes. They've been living in America for maybe like 40-something years. And they said for 30 years now, they've not been in debt. They've not been using credit cards. So it's possible for you to live in America and not be in debt. You know, it's possible. Just spend your money. Just spend the money that you have, not the money that you don't have. Okay. Yeah, Susan is actually living in the US, she says. So and she's telling you that it's not wise to go into debt, and it's true. So now, you know, we keep on having all these excuses, but you know, at the end of the day, we have to answer for our debt. We have to answer for our debt. So you know, all these excuses that people give, you know, they are not worth it. So that's not enough a reason for you to go into debt. It's better for you to live on what you're making. And instead of you going to debt, actually when you go into debt, you actually end up paying 2 times more, sometimes 3 times more for the debt than, you know, you took from the bank or from people initially. So instead of you, you know, going to pay 2-3 times more than you originally took, why don't you just endure? Why don't you just be patient? Be patient and you know, control yourself and control your appetite and, you know, control your feelings, your taste, your passion for that particular time, so that you don't end up paying double. You don't even have the money yet, and now you have to pay double. You don't even have the money yet, you have to pay 2 times. I mean, it's not even logical. You don't have $10,000, but somebody, and you want somebody to give you that $10,000 so that you pay $20,000, but you don't even have the $10,000. So that's why debt doesn't make sense unless it's a good debt that is for business. Okay, I spoke about good debt already today, and the bad debt I also spoke about it, a few days and today as well. So don't live your life for other people. Don't live your life as a slave to other people. But it's even horrible now. It's one thing for you to be a slave to people, but when you are a slave to a system, ooh, those systems are pitiless. They will not have mercy on you. They will wreck you. Especially those credit card companies. They will just destroy your life. And banks. Banks are not your friends. Banks are not your friends. Banks will ruin you if you are not careful. So be careful about owing banks money, and be careful about owing money to institutions. Institutions will destroy you. They don't care for you. They don't have your interest in mind. They have their interest in mind, and they are going to do everything to get what you have and to take everything from you. And you will be paying them more than you could ever make. And they already have money, but they still want to get the little you have. That is all the whole idea about that. So, what was the basis of my teaching today? The reason for this teaching today is just to let you know that we all have excuses that we give that lead us to death. We all have excuses that we all think that are tenable or justifiable why we are in one kind of debt or the other. So one thing I would like you to do today is, will you go and sit down, just find a few hours, maybe if 30 minutes, maybe 10 minutes is enough. Go listen to this message again. And once you listen to the message, take a sheet of paper or open your computer and just sit down by yourself or with your family and write some things down. And the things you need to write down are, why am I in this debt? Why am I in this debt that I'm in? What are the excuses that landed me in this one? What are the excuses that I'm still embracing up to now? What are the excuses that has become part of my culture, part of my mindset, part of my habit? What are the wrong things that I've believed that I need to change? What are the things that, what are the wrong value system that led me to that debt? Do I have greed? Then you write it down. How can I get rid of my greed? And when it comes to greed, I spoke about that in this book. A lot of I have a big teaching here in this book, Money Won't Make You Rich, about greed and how you can deal with greed. So you can get the book on Amazon or in any Christian store all over the world. Money Won't Make You Rich is his name. But so you look at the things that have taken you to where you are. Look for those excuses that you have embraced. Look for what the culture has taught you, the value system, the wrong value system that your culture has imposed upon you. And discover those deep-seated arguments in you and those deep-seated excuses that the culture and your society and your surrounding has put you in. Look for them and intentionally reject them. Because some of the things that we have come to believe, it's not because we actually believe them, it's because other people around us believe them, and we copy them, and we begin to think that we are the ones who believe that way. So look for those things that you have come to agree with, and you have come to count to be part of you or your own arguments, and discover and reject them or drop them, and deliver yourself from those wrong value systems and wrong belief systems. And and face it. If you have a hunger for instant gratification, if you just want to have something today instead of you making the money first before you have it, tell yourself the truth, because that's one of the problems that makes us to go into debt. We often want to eat the bread of tomorrow today. We want to wear the clothes of tomorrow today. We want to live in the house of tomorrow. We want to live in it today. But why don't you just, talk to yourself about discipline, about, controlling your appetite, about disciplining your passion, your lust, your feelings, and maybe you need to convince your wife, you need to convince your spouse, your husband, you need to convince your family, and let them help you so that they don't push you, and so that you could begin to build a different financial history for your life. Well, time is going so fast, and I need to hear what your contributions are before we finish this teaching. I want everybody that is here today to write what your conclusions are, because I always need your decisions. I will need to know if this is helping you or not. And if it's helping you, what are your decisions? If it's helping you, what did you gain? What are the new things? The new decisions you are taking? What are your conclusions? What are your decisions? What are your actions? What are you going to do? What has this decision done to you? How has it helped you? And what do you think of it? I want you to write something about this, but mostly about what you are going to do. I don't just want you to write, to write a common thing like "thank you, I was blessed." No, I want to know what you are going to do. How is it going to help you, and how are you going to help yourself? What is going to change about your life right now? The purpose of my teaching is to change you, make you into a better person, and set you free from whatever problem you are in, and be able to build a better future for yourself. Okay, Joshua Nwoha says, what about taking a debt to invest in academic or school? That is a difficult one, because if you have that situation to take to a debt for your school or academics, then you must make sure that you are going to have 3 or 5 backup plans on how you are going to pay the money back. Or you must have a guarantee of employment after you finish that school. Olabisi says, your teaching have not only transformed me, but all the people around me. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Olabisi. Nice to hear that. Angela says, what about giving what I don't have to the church? You don't allow any church or any pastor to push you to give what you don't have, please. I have a series of teaching on my YouTube page, or all these teachings are on my blog as well. I said, don't let them take away your money. Don't let them take away your money. Even churches, don't allow churches and pastors to take away your money. No, especially when you don't have that money. Only give your tithe and offering, and the rest, do it as God will lead you, or just go ahead and take care of your future. Betty Muller says, why people want to have all this time something? They want to have something all the time. You have to be content with what you have and focus on other things in life. Yes, contentment is a great gain. Contentment and godliness is a great, great gain. Kike Lomo says, I have learned that I shouldn't take just any kind of risk, but any risk must be measured or calculated. Therefore, it is better to save my way to invest. But if, however, I need to borrow, I must have, sorry, where is it? Okay, Kikelomon says, I have learned that I shouldn't take just any kind of risk, but any risk must be measured and calculated. That's so true. Therefore, it is better to save my way to invest, yes. But if, however, I need to borrow, I must have at least 70% of what I require and only seek to borrow 30%. That's so true. Furthermore, I must also have thought of at least 5 exit strategies for repaying that 30% debt, yes. In a nutshell, it is better to risk my savings for investments than to compound it with risking other people's savings. That's brilliant. Nkiru says, no excuses is really worth keeping me in debt. I need a mind shift. I have to cut my coat according to my height. No reason whatsoever for being in debt. Yes. And also, please, if you have not shared this link, if you have not shared this message, please find your share button while we are reading these comments. Find your share button and press the share button. Just go share the message with somebody, please. Shirley Simpson Brewer says, Happy Father's Day to you from Normal, Illinois, USA. Thank you so much. Tatiana Shigrain says, I'm so glad that I have never had to not have credit cards. I've never had to have credit cards, but debit card only. But this teaching even more convinced me that this should not be done, and I'm so glad that I'm not threatened from any illness, yeah. But doing right now prevent the death trap in my life. Thank you, sir. Esther says, my decision never to entertain any form of excuse for bad debt. Yes. Cecile, I will just be content with what I have. Stop all the credit and buy cash. My life is transformed. My husband is greeting you, Pastor. Thank you, Cecile. Volker says, stepping up with discipline. No more eating tomorrow's bread today. I must have 5 back out plans. Yes. Ooh, Svetlana Kweze. Wow. How are you, Svetlana? Where are you watching this from? Are you watching from Nigeria, or you are watching from US, or where are you? How are you, Svetlana? Bless you. Greetings to your husband and to your kids and everybody, and all your adopted children as well. Museum Ozoma says, thank you very much. Your teaching has taught me a lot on how to manage my finance, and I know if I continue this way, my life is going to be great, and the future of my children. That is so true. Susan Price says, renting to own is only as good as the property is. Have the property fully inspected by a professional certified individual. Bad inspection, bad investment. Many will hide things about properties they are selling. Ooh, that is bad. Spend the money to have a proper inspection and get the inspection in writing. If something goes wrong later, you can hold the sellers and the inspector responsible for paying for the damages. Don't get stuck with a poor purchase because you are in a hurry. You don't need student loans either. It's totally possible to work and go to school. Brilliant. Why graduate already in debt before you have a job? Oh, that is so good. I did it and have 2 licenses. Wow. Thank you so much, Susan. Charles Ushe says, Pastor, this is not just a course in financial education. It's also a course in integrity. For example, have 5 backup plans when you are borrowing. Thank you, Pastor. Camel Robilo says, thank you, Pastor. Sharing God's wisdom in you. Indwelling is in me to follow is leading. God is using you. God, glory to God. Well, thank you, everybody. Our time is up today. Tomorrow we shall continue. Let me see. Joy Ifeoma is writing. Joy Ifeoma Magical Maduka is saying, let me see what Joy is writing. I love your teaching regarding giving to church. I often feel guilty not giving other forms of giving aside tithe and offering. I will be content with what I can give at this point and give as I am led. Thank God. Fairly Belmont says, my conclusion now is, since I have the pathway to increase material wealth while money is growing, I continue to follow your teaching, Pastor. I believe I will be more impactful and effective where God's will is concerned. I'm looking forward every day. Right now in my life, you are my pastor. Thank you. Pastor Charles is saying, Pastor, this thing you are saying is so true. It's just for us to begin retracing our steps for those of us who have missed it already debt-wise. Anyway, with these teachings, I know we'll be out of debt soon. Yes, in Jesus' name. All right, thank you so much. Sami Owap says, you are my mentor. Please say something and into my life, and I'm knowing it will not remain again. Yes, I speak light, blessings, illumination, insight, wisdom, and understanding to your life in Jesus' name. Blessings, and God bless all of you. And see you tomorrow morning. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9:30 Ukraine time, 7:30 Nigerian time, a.m., 7:30 British time, a.m., 2:30 a.m. Eastern time in America, and 8:30 a.m. European time. God bless you. Bye.